Late Life is a production of Twin Cities Public Television in partnership with Allina Health, whose Life Course project, funded by the Robina Foundation, granted the producers unique access to their ongoing research into late life care in Minnesota.
As medical research advances, people diagnosed with diseases that historically only gave them months to live are now living much longer, sometimes years. For patients and their families, this has meant more time together, but also living with chronic illness and all that that entails. Frequent medical treatments and interventions with the uncertainty of what the next doctor's visit will bring.
We haven't quite figured out how to support people through that time so that they can make better decisions about what's right for them, so that they have better quality of life through that time, so that they can be supported and hopefully be better able to come to a place of peace as they come to the end of their lives.
Meet three families learning to live with chronic illness as they balance traditional medical interventions with a desire to enjoy a healthy and fulfilling life.
I had 6 children.
I'm third. I'm fourth.
I have 12 grandchildren, and I have 11 great-grandchildren now.
She was a nurse at Abbott for many, many years and laid groundwork for advocating for nurses that still exists now.
My biggest thing was to see them really sick and get well real fast. You know, I didn't like to see people sick any length of time, you know.
Please rate your pain now. No pain, mild pain, moderate pain, or severe.
I'd say mild.
She went for a regular routine physical, and part of that was a chest x-ray. And they found a shadow, and they investigated that a little further.
And they found cancer in every bone I've got. It really came right out of the clear blue sky. It just was really something.
When we saw the oncologist, gave us a little bit of hope.
They said that it would be the kind that would be very slow going. That is apparently the way it's ended up.
She was put on a medication, too, to slow the cancer down.
And that was about, I think, 1.5 years ago.
So then we had to regroup and think about, now how are we going to move on and what does this mean? It was a very emotional time for the whole family, actually. It made you think about your life together. You know, and how are you going to spend the remaining time?
Come on, Gabriel. Gabriel.
I have 3 children by a previous marriage. Meryl and I have been married approximately 27 years. We met on the job in Bismarck, North Dakota.
I just saw him from afar. And you know how things sometimes just click?
Yeah, I think I fell in love with her the first time I saw her.
I think probably 1 year later is when we got married.
We have always worked together in the early days of going on the road and selling software. So I've been in the, for want of a better term, in the death industry basically all my life. My grandfather had a funeral home in Lake City, a small little funeral home and a furniture store like everybody else did back in those days. I was a practicing mortician for about 20, 25 years. I'm still working with funeral homes, software, doing some consulting. I was still doing that up until the time that I had my first cancer bout.
Robert?
In the fall of 2006, I had colon cancer. After the chemo was completed, everything really looked pretty good. 2008, I developed lung cancer. And the determination at that time was, again, just to cut it out. 2010, there was another spot that appeared on my lungs. So I went through stereo radiation. I really thought I was good to go. evidently some of that lung cancer had metastasized. And after that is really when they came down with the diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer.
Median survival for stage 4 non-small cell carcinoma of the lung is limited. It's in general less than a year.
I heard it that the timetable was 8 to 12 months normally. Bob has actually heard it to be 3 or 3.5 years. And more power to him if he wants it to be 3 or 3.5. And we're intending that it's going to be longer than that. But I just let him think that that's what the timetable is.
The statistic does not tell me how an individual will do with any disease process. I can't say what the future holds.
I'd like to live another 20 years with Marilyn. Except, I know that won't happen. But I want to keep the last years as good as the first 27 have been.
I grew up in North Minneapolis to a large family. I have 6 siblings, I'm one of 7.
When you refer to this group of the 3 girls in the middle, we had one name. It was Mary Debbie Margaret. If you found one of us, you found all 3.
So I spent some time out in Maine and ended up coming back to Minnesota when my mom got sick. She got breast cancer, so started caring for her and decided that it was just best that I stay here to support her, and supported her until she passed away last November. And then October is when I got my diagnosis for having lung cancer.
We're in exam room 8, no?
Very, very hardest thing for me after getting diagnosed was to tell people. Not only do you have to deal with it from an internal perspective, but then you have to watch the people that you love and care about's heartbreak every time you have to tell, you tell somebody what your diagnosis is.
It's been kind of a roller coaster. I don't think Margaret's ever seen me cry about it. Most people have not.
If my disease does go into progression, the road can be kind of rough and hard. So I fear that.
For most who live with chronic illness, frequent visits to doctors and specialists become a fact of life. A routine office visit may mean devastating news, or a clean scan and a glimmer of hope. Navigating this roller coaster becomes a daily reality for the chronically ill.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
You just keep living day to day and looking for all you can do. And I'm a great one to go out on the internet, which the doctors probably go, oh no, another one. But I go out and I just do a ton of reading.
All right, thank you.
126.
But I think you need to know what you're going to receive.
I went on another drug, which is like a cancer inhibitor. Some people don't tolerate that particular drug very well. And I was kind of one of them. I started losing weight. I got down to, I think the lowest was 114 pounds. And we had pretty much made the decision the next time we had a doctor's appointment that we were going to stop it. We never even got a chance to say we were going to stop it. He said we were going to stop it.
Okay, weight?
I'm up to 127.
Good.
26.
Okay.
120. I'm 126.
126.
I usually exaggerate a little bit.
Okay, very good. He responded very well to the chemotherapy that he received, and we've followed since, and we've not seen evidence for disease recurrence. So despite having a disease process with a short, median survival, he's done very well. We should take a look again in 3 to 4 months. I think 4 months is probably okay. She had little or no tobacco exposure, and oftentimes the disease is a different type of disease process in non-smokers.
Dr. Singh immediately tested me for genetic mutations.
Margaret had the ALK1 mutation.
They've identified certain mutation markers of which they develop pharmaceuticals around. So instead of having to bombard your body with chemotherapy that is toxic for everything, they've developed a medication that can actually stand in the way of a cancer. It's not a cure, but it inhibits it from mutating or from growing. I started that back in November of 2012. Over 50% of my tumor had shrunk back after the first 6 weeks, and I continued to have regression after that.
So this is abnormal tissue, right side of the chest, but if we look, this activity is virtually gone.
I'm lucky because even two, 3 years back, my diagnosis would have been 4 to 8 months.
I think prognosis in regard to her specific situation is going to be a moving target because of the rapid development of new therapies for individuals that become resistant to crizotinib, which is the only approved agent we have at this point.
One of the problems with this new therapy is that it doesn't do a good job of breaking the blood-brain barrier. Right before Thanksgiving, I found out that I actually had some brain tumors, which was growth from my cancer. We had to stop my target medication in order to do 15 sessions of whole brain radiation.
You only get bad news when you're here.
Oh, God.
Right?
This is the tense part, you know? Waiting for this, they call it scanxiety. They actually have a word for it.
The only other bad news that she got was when she found out that she had the brain mets, and that was the one appointment I missed. So we decided after that, no more going to the doctor when I'm on a business trip.
So.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Singh.
So first off, the PET scan looks very good.
Wow.
Which is wonderful. No progression. So it looks good.
That is so
So
great.
congratulations.
Yeah. It's kind of like a stay at execution when you think about it, because my disease is terminal.
It's like already gone away.
We're breaking milestones now by my longevity, and there are other of us that are on this kind of blazing pathway with this new medication, but it's not known. There is a possibility of becoming drug resistant.
Those living with chronic illness often experience significant pain or other stresses as a result of their illness or treatment. In recent years, a new medical specialty, palliative care, was developed to help people focus on living as happy and healthy a life as possible while experiencing chronic illness. Palliative care addresses not only the patient's physical well-being, but their emotional, spiritual, and social concerns as well.
Oh, 98. That's good, yeah.
Her primary physician clinic referred us to the palliative care program.
How tall are you?
4'8".
I don't think she's that tall.
4'6". Could be 4'6".
Palliative care is a field of medicine that focuses on maximizing quality of life for patients who have serious illness or life-limiting illness.
If you're in pain all the time, if you're depressed, if you can't manage to get yourself to the bathroom, why go on? The will to live gets diminished by this sort of constant misery. So what palliative care does is say, what's most important to you? What's causing you the biggest challenges? How can we help you address those?
How are you? Well, I'm. I have bad days and I have good days. It kind of.
Palliative care is delivered by a team, not just the doctor or just the nurse. The team includes physician, nurse, social worker, often chaplain, often physical and occupational and speech therapists.
She's not really seeing her oncologist anymore because she's not interested in active cancer treatment.
And I have more pain than I used to have, and then there are times when it seems to be going okay.
Much of what she's experienced so far has been bone pain from tumor in her bones. And we've been managing that with various pain medications.
And I intend to do whatever I can as long as I can the rest of my life.
No matter how strong a person with chronic illness may seem, the importance of community cannot be underestimated. And while the patient bears the primary weight of the diagnosis, their entire family shares in the heavy lifting of coping with a new reality.
Today was a bone infusion. The cancer's metastasized to my bones. This actually goes in and treats the bones.
Would you like a warm blanket or pillow? Or...
Nope, I think I'm good.
The worst of her issues right now are based on the treatments.
Hair loss was from the radiation.
She had patches, and it made her look not like she was feeling very well at all. It looked pretty bad. So we came home and we took the clippers and we cut the last scraggly things out, and we took some LED Christmas lights and we wrapped them all around her and we took pictures. So we just lit her up, celebrated.
I don't mind being bald for myself now that I'm kind of used to it. It's always a little tricky when you, you know, when you go out in public. Yeah, because people still aren't real used to it. But, you know, there's a lot of nice bald people out there having a lot of fun. So I'm not going to worry that much about it.
Please call us if something's not going the way you want it to.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I get lots of help with that.
We have many advocates. Typically her daughter Mary comes, but there's always someone here with her every single visit. Either one of her sons or daughters is here.
We coordinate between 3 of us girls. And we come in the mornings and in the evening.
You know, Mom, the redness on your leg looks really good today.
Oh, it does look good tonight. They undress me, give me a shower, and dress me, and I get an eye drop every day.
I'll walk down the hall with her to do her exercise. She wants to stay active. So whatever's on the list, she has a list for us every day we come. It's a pretty coordinated effort. It really feels good to be able to do that for your mom. You know, even though you get up a little earlier and there's a little bit more added to your day, it makes you feel good that you can help her out and that she can do the things that she wants.
There is nobody that I know of that has the greatest family that I have. Just could not be better.
We are who we are because of her and my dad.
Life doesn't stop when you have a chronic illness, nor should it. For many of the chronically ill, the routine that work and community service provides gives meaning and focus to their lives.
How much activity are you tolerating?
Well, I worked yesterday. Yeah, and I go in, you know, my boss is great. She's like, come in when you can. So I've been going in maybe 2 to 3 days a week.
Okay, and for...
Margaret has always been moving. So the day that I see her not be able to get out of bed, I will be here helping her get out of bed because it will drive her crazy. I don't think she can sit still that long.
My job is basically to keep the department running. I'm moving throughout the day, so it can be a very, very, very busy day. They've made me feel very comfortable about taking care of my needs, letting me feel confident that I still have my job. I think it's helped me in recovery. Having that goal, having, you know, somebody kind of depend on me to, you know, get certain tasks finished gave me a drive, you know, gave me something to look forward to, gave me a sense of purpose. And without a drive, you become critically disabled from healing.
There's not 1 minute of a day that I think about my imminent death. I mean, I have just pushed that so far back. There's nothing you can do about it anyway. So let's enjoy the time that's left. Work has kind of been a hobby. I like going to work. If I couldn't do that, I'm going to be in deep trouble, mentally.
Basically, Scotty is our lead. We have a team of volunteers, about 8 or 9 of us. She is the one that makes sure things get done, calls get made, kind of the engine of the information center.
If the congressmen get one call for something, they believe that 100 people feel the same way. So that if people call and express their opinion, they really listen.
Most issues she feels very strongly about, and she will then pen letters to whoever she has to over at the state offices and everything. She's very, I would say, the most dedicated person I probably have ever known as far as advocacy goes.
And that's my main focus.
Many patients find that the things they do outside of the doctor's office can not only augment their medical treatment, but also bring a level of healing that makes life more fulfilling.
My role in treating individuals with malignancies is to deliver good medical care, to control the malignancy, to cure it when possible, but to contain it when cure isn't possible. In addition, though, we need to see that people have good quality of life.
Meryl and I have tried to take advantage of any type of support programs that Abbott offers.
I think people suffer more when they don't talk about it. I think that it's harder to go through anything if you just keep it in your own head and it just goes over and over and over.
Along with the chemo, we really changed our eating habits. We've started a garden. We buy basically organic food.
I hear from many people that acupuncture can help with symptoms, pain, nausea, even fatigue. We don't know how this works necessarily, but the end result is the individual feels better. There are many different ways outside of the general medical care that can be helpful for people.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I get a lot of neuropathy in my feet and in my fingers. It's like somebody's sitting in your shoes punching you with needles all day long. One of the staff persons at Abbott recommended that I try doing this. And it just absolutely helps a lot. Between this and the acupuncture, it just about goes away for about 4 to 5 weeks. By the time I leave here, I can dance out of the car. It makes no sense, but it just really works. My feet have never looked so good.
One of the most frequent questions I ask to my patients is, how are you feeling inside yourself? And that gets to these issues of legacy, meaning, regret, need for forgiveness.
I can't ever remember saying, God, you know, why me? Why did this happen to me? And I believe I was raised in an extremely strong Catholic family.
I think I have a strong spiritual connection. I kind of have an open idea what I believe in, and probably lays somewhere between Catholicism and Buddhism. And I rely on that quite a bit, actually. I pray a lot.
I've gone to church every Sunday, you know, and I pray every day. I pray twice a day. In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
She has a prayer list that's a mile long. So she prays for people. If someone says, oh, you know, my friend is having trouble with such and such, she'll say, I'll put him on my prayer list.
It makes me feel better. It really does.
As our population grows older and as people live longer with chronic illness, we have an unprecedented opportunity to decide for ourselves what living is really about. Making medical care adapt to our lives rather than our lives being consumed by medical care.
The time remaining is precious and irreplaceable and needs to be treated with that kind of respect. We need to get the clutter out of the way. What are your highest priorities? And when we hear it's independence and remaining at home and being free of distressing symptoms, our entire care system should refocus itself around those priorities instead of the priorities over here, which are about new bells and whistles and drugs and technology that might extend life a week or two. Patients' time is the currency. That's the most precious thing they have. It gets people to focus on what really matters, most of which is relationship. Making the most of whatever time is remaining, whether it's 10 years, 10 months, or 10 days.
What things do you want to do to make this time really memorable? And so I got better about taking pictures.
I think that attitude and sort of will can play a large role in how people do, although I've also seen cases where the will is there and the body just doesn't cooperate.
You know, it's sad to see the things she really enjoyed the most decrease, but yet she takes it pretty well.
I don't want to sit around and do nothing and mope and act like I'm going to die, because what's the point? it only makes me feel worse and everybody else feel worse. So I think I just want to do what I want to do as long as I can, and that's what I plan to do.
We'll start with the first bottle. Okay.
You know, I've got a bucket list. Well, there's things I'd like to do, whether I was sick or not, I want to do. You know, I want to go skiing one more time. Snow skiing. Well, I love to ski. I haven't been able to do it for the last 4 or 5 years, but I will get it done this year.
I could live a very full life, even though it might be short. I believe that that the cure is coming, and that it's not going to be a whole long time. Will it be in time to save me? I don't know. I'll live every day and I'll take every moment that's meant for me. Yeah.
Late Life is a production of Twin Cities Public Television in partnership with Allina Health, whose Life Course project, funded by the Robina Foundation, granted the producers unique access to their ongoing research into late life care in Minnesota.